Welcome back. This is the first series of what I'm going to be teaching on, and that is why is our skin aging? And I think you're going to really enjoy this. What I have decided to set up is I was going to do it in shorts, but then I thought, well, you know what's going to be better if I do it in sections. Then if you miss something, you can go down in my description box and take the number of that series. So I think this is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to help a lot of you make a lot of choices, better choices in what's good for your skin. And I thought what might be fun is if after each series, you could write some questions down in the comment section, and then I would answer them on the next video. So let's I think this is going to be exciting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain a lot of the terminology that we have in our skincare so you can make better choices in what's best for your skin. And if those of you that don't know me, I think this woman's rambling on. I'm Kathie with Beyond 60, and I've been an esthetician for 40 years and a holistic esthetician for the last 15. And what I mean by holistic is I'm going to give you a brief description here. And if you want to know more about it, I will link a video up there so you can go into more detail on holistic versus Western. That's Eastern versus Western. But Western treats the symptoms. That's called allopathic medicine. And so if you think you go to the doctor and you have a rash on your face, they're going to give you antibiotic. They're going to give you something topically to heal that. Well, I do things a little bit different. I do things the Eastern Chinese way, and that's been done for 10,000 years. And so I'm going to find the cause of that. And since I started doing that, I've had some wonderful mentors in this field. I've had Dr. Greg McGuire, and I've had Dr. Ben Johnson that have that I have followed for the last years, just teaching their teaching skills of learning what's in a product and what it's going to do. And so that's holistic, is I'm going to find the source. And if you think about it, how Eastern medicine has evolved into our country, it's, we're doing more reflexology, we're doing more acupuncture, we're doing hand reading, face reading, ear reading, eye reading. Well, the face is the same thing. Each like I have explained before, we have 12 meridians, and I think it as our sprinkler system going through our body. And they start up here, and they start going through our body and traveling through different organs and different pathways. And those are called the meridians. And each meridian is related to a different organ. Our body is put together so brilliantly, just like our earth, with I always forget earth and fire and things like that. So you'll learn more if you watch that video. But what I thought I would do is I really felt the need to come on here. I might be a total failure, who knows? But I felt that people needed to know what they're buying and what their skin needs, what has happened to their skin through the aging process. Why is it like that? Well, let me tell you something. This is cruel, really cruel. From the age of 25, we lose collagen, elastin, and our blood supply about 1% a year. That's a lot. And then we get up to 45, and we start going through perimenopause and menopause. And all of a sudden, we've lost 5% of our collagen and elastin and blood supply in 5 years. The first 5 years, we've lost 30%. So that's when you really start noticing, our Yogi Bear lines and little drooping here and there. It's because of our hormone levels in our body, and this continues on. And so that's one of the reasons why also that we are aging. And I'll go more into that as I go through my series on identifying what a peptide is and what a stem cell is and what a ceramide is and so forth and so on. I will go in depth on all those as much as I can. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a scientist, but I've been trained by enough of them. So anyway, let's talk about what I believe is what's responsible for our aging. Chinese medicine, pathogens, pesticides, and emotions. It's amazing you're saying emotions. Absolutely. That can change your face in the sake of a day. Just like you've heard stories about people that went through frightening things and their hair turned silver. Yeah, that can happen. So what is a pathogen? Well, I think most of you know that. I'm not, everything around us, if we smoke, if we drink, if we go outside, if we go in the car, even in our home, we have tons of pathogens, and we're invaded by that all day long. And so, there's just more and more and more. You see that, and that's where our illnesses are coming from. Pathogens and our toxins in our foods, our toxins in our laundry detergent, our toxins in what we eat and drink. And we have one of the worst, in the United States, we have more chemicals that we are allowed to use in our products, both food and drug, than any country in the world. And we have over 1,500, and that is a lot. But it's just not something that our FDA is going to do anything about, because there's so much money in formulas that, for Botox, for instance, and for different things like that. It's just all money driven. So the other thing also is, the toxins, what we do to ourselves, and what we eat, our foods, and they're all genetically modified anymore, so our body just doesn't have a chance. So what is ultimately happening there with the pathogens and the toxins is our protective shield of our face and our whole body, our whole skin, is being compromised. And that is called a microbiome. And we have the microbiome on our skin that protects us, protects us from things going in, and protects us from just our whole environment. There's a certain amount of protection, like with the sun and so forth. So these are the things that we need to be aware about, and how they're affecting us in our aging process. And so the last thing, and you're going to find this so interesting, is emotions. Do you know that emotions, in Chinese medicine, we have, goes back 10,000 years, like I said before. It is a facial reading, and it's called physiognomy. And each section of the face is related to a section or organ in the body. And oh boy, when I started learning this, I thought, Jesus, my God, our body is so smart, if you think about it. And so that's exactly how Chinese medicine came about. They couldn't touch people. They had to read their faces, to read their tongues. They had to read all that. And there is a certain bit of emotions that cause a lot of our lines. And I'll go through that more as we dive into this series deeper. But those are the three things that I want to make you aware of, and that is pathogens, toxins, and emotions. You can have a really, really bad week or a bad day, and you can see it all over someone's face. You know, maybe their eyes are hanging, or they've been sad and they're coming down here. But I know when I have people that come in here and I meet for the first time, I can read certain things on their face and just kind of see what level maybe of stress they're on. How am I going to treat this person different from the one that came in last? I mean, and that's what's been so exciting about my business. You know, I've done this, like I said, for 4 decades, and just I love it so much. I love it, and I'm able to help people and make them feel pretty. And my goal is to not, you know, yes, I'm getting old too. Like I said, I'm almost 72, coming up in a couple of months, and I have an older clientele, and I want them to feel pretty, and I want to teach them how to feel pretty, what pretty is defined to them. And so that's why, you know, I kind of decided to start this series, education on, so let's say, and like I said in my last video, I said you guys have more products than a drugstore in your bathroom. Some of you may, some of you might not, but we don't need that, for God's sakes. We don't need that. We need the right things that are going to do the right things that fit into our personality and what we think is important. So I hope that you can get some, you know, knowledge from this series. How it's going to be is I'm going to take one, it'll be maybe on peptides. Maybe the next series is going to be on growth factors and stem factors and ceramides and liposomes. And so you'll be able to look at a product and say, okay, how is this getting into my skin? Is this just sitting on the top of my skin like everything else? No. We want to find out why. And hopefully you'll be educated enough to make those decisions for yourself. And again, like I said, I want you to leave questions down in the comment section for me, not too hard, and I will answer them at the end of the next video. So I think this is going to be great. So if you think that you could possibly learn from this, I want you to give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. And hit the bell, because the bell will tell you when I have another one coming up. And if you miss it, I will have them all linked down below in my description box, like I just said. So anyway, I look forward to being with all of you for the next several weeks. So thank you, and thank you for joining today.